what's up, y'all? This is Jay. I'm coming back at y'all with another pickup video. I got a bunch of bags here. Just gonna get right into it. It's Saturday, March 3rd, I believe. Rare day off for me. I decided to go ahead and spend the day running around the Nagasaki area and picking up stuff. So I'll go through it bag by bag. One of my homeboys told me I should make more videos. I really don't have time anymore, to be honest with you, but I figure I'd do one anyway. A lot of stuff here. This wasn't a particularly remarkable day. However, I did get a lot of stuff. So this was the first place I went to. It was a Hard Off in Togitsu. Hope I'm saying that right. I'm sorry. You're gonna see some feet. A lot of feet in here. Not a whole lot of anything else, but let's start it off with some Saturn games. We got Panzer Dragoon for the Sega Saturn. This was 100 yen, roughly $1. I think the exchange rate right now is like 96 yen to $1. It's not that great right now, but that's what it is. We got a Clockwork Knight. A Clockwork Knight. We got Clockwork Knight. I think this is 2. Yep, Clockwork Knight 2 for a whole $1. Sorry, I'm gonna fiddle with some of this stuff. So we got spine cards for a lot of these, and they're kind of covering the cover art. But there you go, $1. Virtua Fighter Remix. This is $1. I always pick these up for $1 when I see them because I pick up a lot of Saturns for like 500 yen, super cheap. And I like to make Virtua Fighter bundles with Virtua Fighter 1, 2, Remix, Virtua Fighter Kids, all that. I believe the name of this one is Puyo Puyo 2. It's like a puzzle type of game, like Tetris or Columns or whatever. This is Gameware Volume 2. It's like a demo disc for the Sega Saturn. Not much more to say about that. Nothing really remarkable on there, but I don't think I have this one. I might. I'm not sure. But it was $1. What else we got? Try not to show too much, but I guess y'all already seen it. What is this? This is Air's Adventure. I don't exactly know what kind of game this is, but it was $1, so I got it. If it sucks, it's no big deal. Another game that I haven't pulled the trigger on, but I've seen quite a bit. Gotha, I think I'm saying that right. Gotha. I don't know what kind of game this is either, to be completely honest. But it was $1, and it's got all the little paperwork stuff in there, so I figured I'd go ahead and pick that up. Let's see, are we gonna focus here? Are we gonna? Not, well, kinda, I guess, but yeah. That's that. It's some sort of flight game, I guess. I don't know. So I basically just kind of pulled all this stuff out of the junk bins. This was something I was really surprised to see. King of the Fighters 2001 for the PS2. The disc isn't all that great. I guess that's why. It's easily resurfaceable though. This is usually like a $10 to $15 game out here. So to see that for 100 yen, it's pretty surprising. Excuse me, that's disgusting. So that was cool. Another dollar bin game, Dungeon. I don't know much about this, but I've seen it quite a few times in the dollar bins out here, and I've just never pulled the trigger on it. Not really sure if that is like an English friendly game. I'm not really sure what kind of game it is. It looks like it might be like a point and click adventure. I'm not really sure, but $1. Finally decided to grab that. This is what is it? It's like the first level of Parappa the Rapper 2 and what the hell is that? Damn, Ape Escape. And it's got some stuff that was replaced with McDonald's themes. So it's basically just a demo disc that I guess was given away at McDonald's at some point. I have one of these already. I just figured that, you know, this might be cool for somebody else if they wanted it. I don't know any Parappa fans out there, any admitted Parappa fans anyway. So maybe one of the, I don't know, maybe somebody will come out of the woodworks and say, hey, I like prep, and they'll get that. Starfighter 3000. I don't even remember picking this up. I really don't. It's another Saturn game. So yeah, it's some sort of flight game. I honestly don't even remember buying that, but there you go. Okay, some of the more expensive items that I bought. Ooh, don't drop it. We got Capcom versus SNK 2 for the Dreamcast. This was about $10. These are all for trade / resale, so not the greatest deals on these. In fact, I don't even know why I bought these. The addiction, I guess. I passed on these for like, I don't know, 2 months almost. Nobody's buying them, and I've been looking at the prices on eBay starting to go up on these, so I figured I might as well grab them now before they start getting ridiculous and somebody actually does buy them. I think this one might have been 20 bucks. I think King of Fighters 2002. Again, I believe I already have this one. I'm quite sure I do actually. So I have a bunch of Dreamcasts that I'd like to get rid of too. So it'd be nice to bundle them up. 10 bucks for King of Fighters 2001. And I really like the artwork on these Dreamcast games, by the way. Yeah, these just seem so much better than what we got in America. King of Fighters 2000, $10. Yeah, if you're a King of Fighters fan. And this is a game I never even heard of. Nitro Plus Blasters. I'm not much of a PS4 guy, but this looks like an interesting game. It's a one-on-one fighter. I don't know how well that's gonna show, but it looks decent from what I've seen. I looked at some video and it looked alright. 10 bucks. I could have got it new off of Amazon, the English version, for 20, but I really don't care that much. Most of these games are just fine in Japanese, so it's all good. And then we got Fatal Fury 2 for the Super Famicom, $1. I picked those up here and there. And this is, geez, let me try to not massacre this. Super Momotaro 2 for the Super Famicom. So this girl that I'm seeing loves these games. So whenever I can find the Momotaro games for whatever system, I just pick them up so we have something to play together. I have no idea what's going on in them, by the way. No clue, but she likes to play them and I pretend I like to play them with her. Anyway, I'm not huge on buying Game Boy games out here. I mean, if they're $1, I'll get them a lot of times if they're decent. This is Adventure Island 2. This one was 300 yen, 324 with tax. So roughly $3. Again, not really big on buying Game Boy games, but I like Adventure Island. I also got this blue N64 controller with a jacked up joystick. It's actually in pretty nice condition outside of this. It's fairly clean too for 300 yen. So I also buy these as often as I can when I find them for like 100 yen or 300 yen. Just because they're so hard to find in the States. And these are really good prices even with the jacked up joysticks. So I figure I might as well take advantage now while I can. And one of these days I'll get around to fixing all this stuff and moving along. Here's a yellow controller with a slightly nicer joystick. This one was 500 yen. So I picked that up. Just a random power cord for $1. This is a PlayStation S video cable, 200 yen. I don't have one. I figure I kind of check out the S video quality compared to AV and just kind of see how it is. And then I've got this 5-DIN pin connector thingy. I've got to make some AV cords for PC Engine, Neo Geo, and so forth, and I really need the tops of these, so that's why I got that. Anyway, let's go on to the next bag. Push this shiznit aside. Alright, so from Hard Off we went to Book Off, And we got everything in this little bag here. So the first thing I saw, well, this is actually the last thing I saw. I was very interested in this. I don't know how I walked past it the first time, but it is a network adapter for 950 yen in the box. I thought that was really cool. I'll be completely honest with you, I don't really have a whole lot of use for that. I don't have a whole lot of interest in it. Well, let's pull that out so you can see it. So it's still in the little bags and whatnot. Kind of cool. In nice shape. It's got the little booklet in there too. I guess I can pull that out so you can see that, or whatever that is, some sort of instructions or something. So, geez, this is why my videos are so long. I'm always struggling to move stuff around. Anyway, it looks almost brand new. Pretty cool. So I'll probably be moving this along. I'm not really much of a GameCube collector, and I have no use for online anything from that era, so that's going to probably end up on the bays. Just a couple of things I couldn't really pass up just because they're cheap. Dragon Ball 2 for Super Famicom for 250 yen. I'm pretty sure I have loose carts somewhere of this, and then also the first Dragon Ball Z. I know there's a ton of Dragon Ball Z games, so I'm assuming that these are in the same series. I don't know. 250 yen. Back to the GameCube, I got a Game Boy Player disc with the manual for 750 yen. Alright, I'm getting behind the camera because I think everything is turning out all blurry as I'm recording it, but again, you'll see some feet, sorry. Game Boy Player disc with manual and the case, 750 yen. I have tons of Game Boy players that I've gotten attached to GameCubes. I need discs, so 750 isn't too bad, especially if I can mod, well, as I do mod these systems for with region switches. Having a Game Boy player and a disc isn't bad, even if it's a Japanese disc. But Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Story for 250 yen boxed. It's a great game, actually. One of the very few N64 games that I enjoy. So I do have this already. 250 yen, that is not bad because I can always do some trading or selling or whatever. Matt Hazard Eat Lead. I do not own this for any American system. This is one that I've been kind of on the lookout for since like 2012. It just never came across it. This was 500 yen. I don't really care that it's the Japanese version, so kind of happy to finally grab that one. You got Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for 500 yen in the box. There's a little bit of damage to the box, as you can see as I shine that in the light. It's not too bad though. This is one of those games that honestly I don't really know why I buy, even boxed for 500 yen. I haven't sold any of these. I've got quite a few just piling up. I mean, maybe it's more due to time than anything else, but I don't know. I just can't help myself when I see them. Just can't. And then Super Mario 64 for 500 yen in the box. And I believe this has a manual. Yep, it's got a manual and all that good stuff in there too. So if you want to see what all this stuff looks like, I don't know how well versed y'all are on the Japanese stuff, but quite different from the American versions. So there's like a little quick controller layout card, and then of course the manual, and then the larger box and plastic tray and all that good stuff. So I actually really like the Japanese packaging on most games more than I do the American versions. I like the bigger boxes. They're sturdier, much sturdier actually than the American. So there's that. One of my favorite book offs, and that's the book off with the cutie pie. I could not muster up the courage to talk to. That's incorrect, actually. I tried talking to her, but my Japanese is so horrible. She didn't understand a word I was saying. Moving along. Shit. Where we at? Alright, let's pause. So the next stop was another book off. I restrained myself quite a bit and didn't buy a lot of the stuff that I intended to buy initially, but let's start off with, I don't know what the translation on this is. If you know Muscle, the old toys from the 80s, I guess it was an anime or something here in Japan at some point, but this is a PlayStation 2 game based off of that wrestling franchise. There was a GameCube game that came out in the States, and I think that was the only one that actually came out in the States. So these are actually kind of expensive here. This one does not have a manual, but I bought it regardless. I like to have a manual with all my stuff, but this is usually like a $15 game, so 10 to 15 I think, maybe even more. But it was $2.50, so I couldn't pass that up. This is Area 88, also known as UN Squadron in the US. This is the cheapest I've ever seen it here. This game actually runs from like $20 to $30 here normally, locally anyway. This was $9.50. It's got a yellow back, but that's no big deal to me. So that was a pretty good deal. Anytime I see Rockman X3 for a decent price, I'll grab it. This one was $15.50, not too bad. Alright, I had to adjust some lighting. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So this is usually like a 2,500 to 3,000 yen game out here. So this one was $15.50. I had to grab it. I assume it will trade well at some point, but I have not done a whole lot of trading / selling as far as the Rockman games. Just kind of hoarding them right now. And one I was actually really interested in, I'm not a huge N64 guy at all, but came across Sin and Punishment for $19.50, so roughly 20 bucks. I saw a complete copy of this out here for like 50 bucks when I first got out here. I didn't grab it. I don't really know a whole lot about this outside of the fact that it wasn't released in the States. I do like Sin and Punishment on the Wii, so that's why I grabbed that one. A nice mixture of stuff here. First thing that I grabbed was a Super Famicom from the junk section. Who knows if it works or not. It's got a good case or a good shell, so that's why I grabbed that. Fairly confident that I'll be able to get that to work. Fairly. So that was 540 yen, so roughly 5 bucks. Can't really go wrong with that regardless. I just thought this was really cool. So this is a light gun for the original Xbox. Now here in Japan they don't have the sissy bright colors for their light guns, so the stuff that they got out here looks a lot cooler. Obviously this will probably get you killed on the streets in the US, so not gonna leave the house with that, but I think it's pretty cool. Alright, Gradius 5. I spent a pretty penny on this one. I think this one was 20 bucks. I've seen this a couple times out here and passed on it for like 25, 30 bucks. And it's usually gone within a couple months. Again, I let stuff sit and I just kind of ponder on it. And I finally decided to pull the trigger on this one. This one was 20. They had another copy from the Best series, which is like a greatest hits out here. That was 25 for some reason, more expensive. But I did pull the trigger on that. Kind of happy to finally gotten that to my collection. See what else we got. Oh, this was cool. So 20 bucks for, well, 21 actually, for a Neo Geo CD controller. I've never seen one of these loose out here before. 2160 on this Neo Geo CD controller. It's in really good shape. They said it was junk. It's clicky, feels good, so we'll see. $1 for Resident Evil or Biohazard. Damn it. There goes my focus. Why will it not just stay focused? This is unbelievable. Unacceptable. Code Veronica, Biohazard Code Veronica for the Dreamcast for $1. I have a couple of copies of this already, but it doesn't have the sleeve like this one does or the spine card, so that was kind of nice to find. Also picked up Neo Geo CD game, King of the Fighters 94. I have quite a few copies of this already, and obviously this is for resale slash trade, whatever. Then we've got Dead or Alive 2. I'm sorry, Dead or Alive for the Sega Saturn for 300 yen. This is always a good trader. For some reason, people always want this one. I don't know why. It's not really a great game. It's very plentiful, I think, anyway, from what I've seen on the PlayStation. But people like the Saturn version. Go figure. This one was cool. It's a fine for 100 yen. King of the Fighters 95. The case is beat to hell. Oh, I should crack it open. The manual looks to be in pretty decent shape. The disc is in really nice shape, so $1 for that. Can't really complain there. Something I like to grab when I can. Famicom games with good backs. This one was 50 cents, so it's some stupid derby, like horse racing game. 50 cents for a good back. F-Zero for the Super Famicom for $1. I've been looking for this for a while. It's kind of nasty looking, but it's kind of hard to find this one cheap. It's the first time I found it for $1, so I picked it up. Star Fox 64. Usually when I'm selling 64s locally out here, people ask for Star Fox and I don't ever seem to have it, but now I've found quite a few in the last couple months and I haven't sold any 64s, so again, go figure. This was just a random power cord that came with the Xbox light gun, so whoop-de-doo. And for good measure, we got a copy of Super Metroid for 12 bucks. Not really much more I can say about that. So, the next place I went to was, let's see, Book Off. Everybody. At the Book Off. Let's slide all that stuff over. So the first thing was this orange GameCube console with controller, and I want to open that up if I can. Let's try to. There we go. All right, just kind of relieve some stress on that thumbstick, because that thing looks like it's. There we go. They wrap these so tight, you know, it's kind of hard to. Anyway, they wrap these so tight, I just don't want to stress the thumbsticks too much. But see, they usually take the price off too, but $19.50 for that. So, like, roughly $19, and it's complete with the exception. I didn't check that, but that's okay. Pretty good condition. So. There's that. Cool. I usually sell the GameCubes for like 60 bucks. The orange ones in good condition and complete. Something that's not in good condition is this beat to hell GameCube controller. It's an orange GameCube. It's an orange GameCube controller. I'm gonna have to replace the plastic piece on here, but that's really no big deal. Other than that, it looks pretty good. It's a little dirty, but that will clean up just fine. 500 yen, so roughly 5 bucks. That's bag number one. Bag number two, picked up a couple of Nintendo 64s. Well, let's pull this one out first. So this is a blue and clear N64. Let's relieve some stress on that thumbstick. It's quite loose actually. That's kind of disheartening. But you might be able to see in there is an expansion pack. There's a rumble pack, which I don't really care too much for. Got your AV cord, your power cord, and all that good stuff. $34.50, so about $34. I expect to be able to sell this for $60 after shipping and fees and whatnot. So we shall see. And then I also got a normal N64 for $19.50, and this is missing the AV cord, and this is actually a lot more than I tend to pay for N64s, even with the power cord and the controller. And the stick on this one is actually pretty good, but This one has an expansion pack also. Next place I went to was a hard off that I don't really find stuff at very often because the prices are usually ridiculous, and it's just a small store. So first thing I grabbed was Devil May Cry DMC for the PS3. This is a game that I refuse to pay more than a couple of dollars for, and I never found it in the States, so 200 yen on that. Don't care that it's in Japanese. That price was right, so I grabbed it. Somebody had asked me, somebody in the States had asked me to pick up all the Ratchet and Clank games that I could find. This was the last one I think I needed. So I already sent him one. I have 2 and 3. Now I have 4 sitting around for him. So whenever he wants to get all of them, I can ship them to him now. So, there you go, Scott. Victorious Boxers, or Victorious Road something, whatever, 2. I guess it's called Victorious Boxers in the States. That's all we need to know, right? 100 yen on that. I really like boxing games quite a bit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play this because it looks like there's a lot to read in Japanese, but I think I can figure it out. So there's that. We got some decent stuff out of the junk bin today from this store. So we got a copy of Mario Party 3 for 100 yen. Now normally, and it looks like that would be the case here. It's not going to show up here because I'm not going to play with the focus on this. But normally when you see decent games like this, it's because the pins have all kinds of browning, like corrosion on them. Pretty easy to clean up. So not a problem for me, but I guess the stores don't know how to do that. 100 yen on that, and it's usually a cheap game anyway. This is another game I have quite a few copies of, Super Bomberman. It's got quite a bit of yellowing on the back as well. This was 200 yen, so not too bad. I can still do a little something with that. Dragon Ball Z 2 for 100 yen. I don't even know why I picked that up, but I did, I guess. Donkey Kong Country 2 for 100 yen. A pretty decent copy too, so that's kind of a surprise. Alright, so from there I went and grabbed some high dollar games, some stuff that I didn't expect to actually want to buy. Alright, so this one, I'm going to let Google go ahead and try to pronounce that for you. So this is a shooter. I'm not familiar with this, but I did happen to look it up while I was in the store, and it looks fucking badass. It's a Taito shooter. Not really a whole lot more I can say about that. I'm gonna have to give that a whirl at some point. Again, I've been really into shooters lately, and it's nice to see a lot of stuff out here that I've never seen or heard of before. I really like discovering the new stuff that I don't know about. In this game, oh, I'm sorry, this one was 2,700 yen, so like 27 bucks. I'm not really keen on, or I'm not really privy to spending that much money on a game that I've never heard of, but I did hear, so I hope it's worth the gamble. This is In the Hunt for the original PlayStation. Again, not a game I'm super familiar with, and this one was pretty damn expensive. I think this one was like 35 bucks. So me being very passive on games based on cover art back in the day, I do remember this game. I do remember passing on this game when it was extremely cheap, and I didn't realize how much it goes for as far as the American version is concerned. This is like a $100 game. It's like an undersea shooter type game. So this one, again, I don't remember if it was 30 or 20, something like that, but I didn't want to pass that up because it's actually kind of an expensive game in Japan too. I think it was 20 actually, and I think it sells for like 35, 40. I think that's what it was. But yeah, I went and took the plunge on that one. So there's that. What else? Alright, so the only dedicated game store that I actually go to out here is called Gameru or Gamru. I restrained myself quite a bit in there too, so I picked up only a couple things this time. We've got Macross something or other. I don't really know much about the Macross or Macross anime, but a lot of the games out here look fucking awesome, and I've been kind of on a binge since I've been here, buying as many of these games as I can because I love shooters, and the PS3 shooter looks fucking phenomenal, but I just don't understand how to play. So that's the one that got me started on these. So that's this for the Famicom. 500 yen. I shouldn't have tossed it down after that, but I did. Kickboxing for the PC Engine Super CD. This is called Best of the Best in the US. I didn't realize until a couple years ago that this is, or a few years ago I should say, that this was on the PC Engine. Me and my brother used to play the shit out of this on the Super Nintendo back in the day. So I think I've played every version with the exception of this one. It'll be interesting to see how this one compares. I can't say that this is a game that has held up well over the years because it really hasn't. So that's all I got there. The last stop was a hard off in Omuru. I got another orange GameCube controller, and this one is actually pretty decent. Pretty nice shape. 500 yen on that. They also had a silver GameCube controller. This one actually has quite a bit of wear on the back, as you can see. However, 500 yen. It's not in terrible shape. I'll probably have to replace this rubber piece, but I've got so many goddamn GameCube controllers, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with them, and like half of them are orange. It's ridiculous. If I had more time to sell shit, I would really be cleaning up right now. What else? Alright, Christmas Nights into Dreams. Oh, excuse me. This is a game that I always pick up for 100 yen when I see it. I like to throw this in packages as a freebie. Not much else to say about that. It's a 100 yen game. I don't know that it's particularly sought after, but I like to throw it in as gifts. So there's that. And something I almost never see in junk bins. Actually, I do never see them. Well, I never see complete PC Engine games in junk bins out here. I forget the name of this game, but I do have this already. This one was 300 yen. I think 500 yen, I'm sorry. For the life of me, I can't remember what the translation is on that. It's missing the little plastic piece that holds it in the case, but still 500 yen on that, not bad at all. This is usually about a $15 to $20 game. And then Dragon Spirit, also, well, this one was 300 yen. So that's pretty damn cool too. Hopefully they work, who knows. The only other time I've found PC Engine games in a junk bin, they did not work. Or I got one to work, but the other two didn't work. So pretty damn cool. And then everything else that I got, I think, was all Super Nintendo or Super Famicom. Just about. Alrighty. Sonic Drift. This one was 300 yen. I don't know if this came out in the States or not, but I don't have it, so I bought that. It's a Sonic racing game on the Game Gear. Nothing all that special. Super Donkey Kong for 548 yen. I usually don't see this game that cheap, especially in this condition and boxed. So I mean, I find them for 100 yen to 300 yen loose all the time, but to find it boxed is pretty cool. I have quite a few of these already also, and when I get my shit together, I will start selling those off in bundles. So the rest of these are Super Famicom games. We got Super Mario World, 300 yen. Super Mario Collection, also known as Super Mario All-Stars, 300 yen. Super Mario Kart, 300 yen. About $3. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Obviously the label's kind of jacked up on this one, but 300 yen. This is usually like a $10 game. Yellow backing, but you know, whatever. It's still not bad for a really good game. Another Super Mario World for 300 yen. And I think I can't tell. I think maybe the batteries on these might not be working or something, and that's why they have them in the junk bin for that cheap. Because these are usually like $10 to 15 bucks out here, locally anyway. Another Super Mario World for 300 yen. The Legend of Zelda for 300 yen. So I don't normally see this one for less than 10 either, and I've never bid on this. I'm not a huge Zelda fan, so for 10 bucks I wasn't going to bite, especially because I won't be able to read any of it. So for 300, that wasn't a bad price, and I had to grab that for the collection. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, 100 yen. I always pick these up for $1 when I can find them. I usually pick up the regular Street Fighter 2 also, but the ones at this store are very yellow and kind of jacked up. This is some kind of SD Gundam game. I can't remember exactly what the translation is, but it looks like a pretty decent little shooter type title. So I picked that one up. Another super yellow backing on that one, but that was 300 yen. Also, a couple more games. Tiny Toon Adventures for 500 yen, and this is another one that I like to give as a gift. I have a pretty decent condition copy for myself already, so that one will be going to somebody else at some point. And I forget what the name of this one is, but it's a one-on-one fighter. This is not in the greatest condition, but it was $1, so I bought it. I got this white, almost white, very yellowed white Dreamcast, or not Dreamcast, but Sega Saturn, with S-Video cord, controller, and a power cord for $20 or 19 something. Usually I don't pay that much for them, but I kind of had to, or I felt like it was a pretty good deal. Everything was supposed to be working, or is supposed to be working. I haven't tested it out yet, but let me move the light and move all this crap back, and I have a lot of stuff to clean up tonight, so, or at least get off the floor. But a lot of shit today. Yeah, it's so much fun living out here. I really feel like I'm in a renaissance period as far as collecting is concerned. It's never going to be this good again for me in all my life. I can guarantee that. I've got less than a year here, and I'm already kind of dreading leaving. So anyway, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate y'all watching. Talk to y'all later.